and your family. Pay attention or pay the price. The Political Report every week on Rogers TV.
Welcome back to Daytime. Well, March is Nutrition Month, and we want to learn all about citrus. So, of course, we bring from Florida citrus, Florida grapefruit, Florida grape, oranges, everything. Lydia Knorr, thank you so much for being here. Now, I'm a big fan of Florida citrus because grapefruit, and Christian can attest to this,
she's a grapefruit
meal I eat pretty much every morning.
Awesome.
I absolutely love it. But, you know, one thing I want to get into before we get into these meals that you've brought and prepared so lovely for us is some of the myths. There's a lot of myths when it comes to fruit. People are worried about sugar intake. So as a nutritionist, a registered dietitian, you know, tell us a little bit about, maybe dispel some of those myths a little bit.
Absolutely, I'd love to. Fruit does contain sugar, of course, but it also contains vitamins and minerals and fiber, and so you don't want to eliminate those wonderful things from your diet. You know, my whole idea around sugar is as long as it comes in a healthy package, then go for it. And of course, Canada's Food Guide tells us that we want to try and get 7 to 10 servings of fruit and vegetables into our diet every day. And fruit, especially fruit that's in season right now, like Florida grapefruit, is a great way to do that.
Another thing too is, you know, people when it comes to diet is avoiding carbs is another big one. And some fruit is carb heavy, right? Oranges are, you know, a little bit heavy in carbs, but maybe not avoiding it is a good thing.
No, you know what? All fruit contains carbs, yes, to your point. There's 2 different types of carbs. There's simple carbohydrates, which are fruits, and then there's the complex ones. I think when people think about avoiding carbs, they do think of taking things away like the really complex carbohydrate sources. The key is, you know what? Yes, if you do eliminate carbs from your diet, you may lose weight in the short term, but that's mostly because you are reducing your total caloric intake and you're taking a lot of important things out of your diet. The thing to remember with carbohydrates is, you know, you're getting your whole grains and your fruits and vegetables and your legumes. Those are all carbohydrate sources, and those are really important components of the diet you don't want to miss.
You're right, and they're real sources. This is not a packaged, you know, this is the real thing.
Exactly,
you know? We just don't do that enough. You know?
You got it.
Awesome.
And then the last thing I wanted to ask about when it comes to myths is, you go in the grocery store, you know this happens to you too. Low fat, fat free. Oh yeah, that's the one I should grab. What are we doing wrong?
Okay, so just because something is low fat or fat free, and this is a great question, by the way, thanks for asking, because I think it's a huge myth. Just because something is low fat or fat free doesn't mean it's healthy. And I can think of a few examples off the top of my head, like pop or candy, or, you know, low-fat frozen treats. Just because they're low in fat doesn't mean they're healthy. In fact, they offer very few, if any, nutrients. And then on the flip side, side of that, is that there are some higher fat choices that are truly healthy choices, such as fish, such as avocados, and we're featuring those in our recipes today, such as nuts and seeds and nut butters. So the key is read labels and look for the overall nutritional package. Just because it says it's low in fat doesn't mean it's healthy.
My favorite example is salad dressing. Because the sodium level is so absolutely off the charts, right? When you can get beautiful dressings, make it from simple, fresh ingredients like citrus.
Exactly, which is what we've done today. Yeah, so, you know, bottom line is just educate yourself by reading labels and look at the whole package, you know, and look for those things like sodium level and fat level, and then look for, you know, the fat level, look for healthy fats, you know, polyunsaturated, monounsaturated fats. We need those things in our diet. So, you know, fat isn't a bad word.
That's it. I'm waiting for you to go. Fat's where it's at.
Fat? Well, it's not fair to do it in front of a nutrient. You know, it's not a good idea. Dietitian. But I'll tell you too, I think another thing with citrus people don't use is the outside of the essential oil that are in the rind. It's such for cooks. This is like the gold.
That's right.
That's what I search for, is the nicest looking, so I get the best rind on the outside.
And that's why, you know what, and again, you know, you are so easy. You're an easy sell. I don't have to talk to you about grapefruit because you just said that you love it and you eat it every day. But that's why, you know, we thought we'd bring a few recipes in today to chat about and show how you can incorporate citrus into your day. You know, to be healthy and to also be indulgent, because you know what? You know, we all like the taste of good food, and there's a lot of great ways that you can incorporate citrus into your diet and still have a really tasty meal.
Well, I know we're going to get into the meals in a moment, but I wanted to ask, you know, when it comes to choosing your fruit, what are some things you look for? Because I know, you know, for you as a chef, you want a beautiful looking outside, you can use that rind. But just as an average consumer that you're wanting to eat the center,
great question.
What are some things that you're looking for? How do you know it's ready and ready to go? What's the season like?
It's a great, well, okay, the season is for Florida citrus from November to April. So we're really in the peak part of the season right now. But that's a really good question because, you know, you mentioned that Christian's looking for that perfect looking fruit. These blemishes that you see on the Florida grapefruit, they're actually very natural, and that's just a result of the branches from the trees, you know, kissing the fruit, as we like to call it, as they're blowing.
Oh,
that's very normal. You just don't want something that feels bruised. I mean, feel that baby. That is one heavy fruit. So, you know, that means it's in peak season. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. So you just want something that's, you know, a little bit malleable, but not bruised or soft, and that feels heavy and firm. You know, it's nice and juicy and chock full of all those great nutrients that we talked about.
And same goes for oranges too, I'm assuming.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. You know, don't be worried about a few little blemishes here and there. You know, you just want a nice firm fruit.
Now, the other thing I want to ask you about is juices.
Yes.
Because, you know, this is another way for us to get our daily recommended intake, but we want to make sure it's 100% juice, right?
Correct. Yes, you always want to make sure that you look for 100% pure juice so that you know you're not getting any added sugars or, you know, blended beverages or whatnot. That's going to give you the real deal, and then you know you're getting your true fruit serving from that juice.
All right. Well, we got to run to a quick commercial break, but when we return,
come on.
We got a little preview going on here. This may or may not be back when we return because, you know, I didn't get my grapefruit in this morning, so I might, you know, indulge a little bit, okay? More Florida Citrus when we return. Awesome. This looks so...
Up this week on My Communities Durham.
Was driving home, found out they were going to build an airport in my backyard.
The vigil continues 40 years later. How a community came together to force the federal government